Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NifnexTV. NifnexTV is where you've got your small to medium-sized business challenges being addressed. One of the unique sort of challenge we've got here is a business owner who's sort of almost ready to give up. What should he or she do to revive himself or herself and the business? And what a fabulous panel we've got here. We've got Alicia Menkveld, we've got Craig Lampard, and we've got Rueben Taylor. So give them a welcome, please. If you can address this from a business coach perspective, we've got a financial planning perspective, and of course the courage ambassador and the inspiration speaker, Alicia. So Alicia, could you introduce yourself, and then we go around introducing ourselves, and then we'll get on to the case study.
Thank you, Zishan. Thanks so much for being here today and for all of you coming. I'm Alicia Menkveld. I'm from Radical Consulting, and it's a marketing consultancy for small and medium-sized businesses. I'm also an inspirational speaker, as you've heard, and that's pretty much me.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Craig Lampard from Inspired Money. I run a local financial planning business with two partners based here locally in West Perth, and we assist people to protect and build their wealth. We do that by sitting down with them, understanding what their objectives are, what their timeframes are, having a chat to them about what their experiences have been in investing, and then working out a strategy and a plan to implement advice so that over time we can deliver the outcomes they're looking for. So yeah, that's us.
Welcome.
Great.
And Rueben Taylor from Business Wealth Educators. I run a success community for business owners here in Perth, working with them, helping them create more cash flow, time off, taking more holidays, ultimately running a great business. Thank you.
Welcome. So who wants to go first? We've got a person who's obviously ready to give up in business. So do you address themselves first or the business first? But address themselves first.
I
There you
would
go.
think so.
I think so.
So you might as well start with you, Alicia. Ladies first.
Thank you. I want to start off with a quote from Winston Churchill, and he said that success is not final and failure is not fatal, but it's the courage to continue that really counts. Now, as small business owners, all of us will know that it's pretty much a roller coaster ride when you have your business. There's very much fun and exciting times, and then obviously there is the scary times where the roller coaster is pretty much out of control and we sometimes feel a little bit powerless. So I thought about putting 5 things together today that I would give as advice to someone who's sort of ready to give up. So the first one is breathe. Okay, it sounds really simple, but I think it's quite effective to sort of calm yourself down. And while you breathe, you need to remind yourself about your why. Why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing? You obviously started this business with a specific purpose in mind, okay? And the reality is, once things get overwhelming and once you feel like giving up, the best that you can do is to remind yourself as to why did you start this? Whose lives is it going to impact? What change will it make for your loved ones? What will it give you? What can you be once you've achieved what you really wanted to achieve? The second point that I wanted to make was a group of supportive people. I believe that you need a small handful of people that are positive, that are supportive, and they could include family, they could include friends, but I would definitely put a few entrepreneurs in the mix there because they have been walking this path before you and they would actually be very helpful to give you advice in these times. The third point I want to make here is that normally when you want to give up, it's because you are feeling overwhelmed and you are feeling, and this feeling of overwhelm goes with exhaustion. Okay, and why are we going into overwhelm? It's very much because we book our diaries too full, we don't know how to say no, we think that we can do it all ourselves. And what I want to say is I think the first step is to realize that you cannot actually do it all yourself. Plus, there's no real need for you to do it all yourself. And that it's crucial for you to actually ask for help, but to also get clear about where you're going, where's your focus, and then setting priorities. The fourth point I wanted to make is that you have the power. Every day, in every minute, we have the power to choose how we're going to react to something. And you can either give your power away and become a victim, or you can be powerful and you can become a victor. And it's all about how you deal from moment to moment with life and also with your business. So I just wanted to say on that point, it's good for you to also realize that you're on an uphill in the learning curve at this point in time. And that no matter what phase your business is going to go into, there will always be new skills to learn, there will always be new challenges to face. But it's actually a good thing because it shows that you are busy growing and progressing. And my last point that I would give the person is find an expert, find a coach, find a mentor that can actually help you to fast track your success during this. They have been there before, they have helped many like you before, and it just makes sense to pretty much shortcut the learning. That's it.
Fabulous. I mean, you can see why you're an inspirational speaker. On the fifth point, I think business coach perspective. Rueben, can we get you to give your perspective?
Absolutely, and I think to really before getting into the sort of the nuts and bolts side of things is big believer in what Alicia is saying. It's about who the person is. I'm a big believer there's two things we can control in life: our actions and our attitude. And so whatever the situation is, well, how do you choose to approach it and what actions will you take? I think one of the first things that you need to take action on, or first, is to actually make a decision. Are you committed to this or not as a business? Because commitment is that first step. I've had businesses before where they've had two businesses, and one they weren't really passionate about, the other one they were. So it's actually a printing company. Loved the graphic design stuff, didn't like the printing side. So we'll make the decision around which one you want to keep, which one you don't, because at the moment both aren't working. And it's interesting, he described the printing company as an anchor around his neck. And you can imagine what the results were like. And of course that business wasn't working because that passion wasn't there, that energy, that purpose wasn't there. So yeah, very much important to get that clear front up. Once you're clear that you're committing to a path forward, is then to have a look at, well, where do you want to go? What is actually a goal, somewhere to go for? Because if you're just caught up in the I was going to swear then, but if you're just caught up in all the stuff and all the rubbish, well, that becomes your world, and so nothing's going to change. So getting a clear vision, getting a clear idea. I always set a shorter term one initially, so connect with your bigger one, but something that's achievable and say I can get from A to B. So usually it's a 3-month thing, something short that you can move forward on. So the next thing is to get really clear on where you're at. Most businesses things aren't working, and if I was coaching them, I'd say, well, what's not working? And we'd have a look at their numbers. What's happening in your market or not happening? What's happening in your finances or not happening? Actually having a look at what are the numbers telling you, because to me, the numbers tell the story of a business, and what activity or actions are happening or not happening will be clear from the numbers. And so just understanding break-even points, understanding number of leads coming in, number of customers you need to get to your goal, just actually getting a clear, something on paper. Most people, when they're in a bad frame of mind, tend to solve stuff in their head. And that usually, they're asking the wrong question, they're trying to get us. So get it on paper, you can look at it more objectively, deal with it more objectively, put a few more facts around rather than the emotion. Once we've got that, and usually when things aren't tracking, or usually there's some sort of marketing problem at play or something. It's cash flow, or it's lack of customer sales. So we need a clear plan to target that. And so getting some help on that. If it's a cash flow thing, when we target things like, well, where is your cash gone? Is it tied up in your debtors? Is it tied up in your stock? Or is it tied up in, you just haven't got enough sales coming to the door? If that's the case, well then let's get some new customers in the door. The key, once you're looking at the numbers, you need to make decisions quickly. Most people make slow decisions, and when things aren't tough, when things are going tough, we'll just make the calls you need to make. I've helped a number of clients where economies have turned and things aren't tracking as well, and if they keep holding on to the same level of stuff, if they keep spending the same amount of money, well, they're going to go broke. So, it's a tough decision. We've got to let people go. It's a tough decision. We've got to take a pay cut as a business owner, whatever it might be, but make the call that's going to be good for yours and the business future. Then if you're going to go after growing the business, most people start to become more desperate or start to take any clients or start just almost doing what I call a shotgun approach, when in fact the opposite is what actually works. And it's about being laser focused in a path. I recommend choosing one market. So choose a particular client, a type of market, and go after that. Find how you can get traction in that market. Go solve some problems for that market. Go and add value to that market, and you'll find that the business will start to flow. And once that money's flowing, and then go on to the next market. In fact, that's a rule of thumb I'd apply to any business. Now, don't try and be everything to everyone to start with. You become really good at one particular product that solves a particular problem in a particular market, and then build your business from there. And then lastly, and Alicia touched this a little bit, is having that support network, and that can go from that emotional and physical support as a coach or mentor in what you're doing to guide you along the path, but also who can connect you into the opportunities that you need to be connected with. I'm a big believer that the people you need to meet, or that your ideal customers are, we're in Perth, we're only 2 degrees of separation, so there's, you could make any opportunity happen if you're in the right place at the right time and connect with the right people. So there are a few initial thoughts, Zishan, so
well done.
Hand back to you.
I might have to handball it back to Craig then, because talking about money, inspired money, I'm sure insurance and financial planning plays a big part there.
Yeah, look, certainly they do in any business. It's interesting sitting here and listening to, my colleagues talk about, their tips. The reality is, as a financial planner, a lot of our business is about coaching clients. Obviously, it's fairly specific, to do with finances and, be that building wealth or protecting wealth. So much of the tips that I've got run a common theme. I think it's really important that if a business is experiencing problems, then to try and identify what is the root cause of that problem. Often, the answer might be staring in the face, but they can't see it. So one of the great ways to get some clarity, I believe, is to actually go and seek a mentor in your field. There's lots of ways of doing that. We can go to business association meetings. We can network. We can talk to maybe our competitors who, surprisingly, sometimes are quite happy to share their experiences. So I really encourage people who are facing difficulties with their business to get out there and talk to people about your business, what your problems are, and potentially, have others experience those problems and what were their solutions. Because there's a little secret that I adopted a long time ago about being successful, and that's not reinventing the wheel. That's finding a system that works and then go out there and duplicate it for your business. So that's the first tip I'd like to pass on. You mentioned earlier about the importance of numbers. Certainly agree. It's really, really important that businesses, do business plans. They have a marketing plan. That they set down, a cash flow budget, and then go back and track, either on a monthly or at least a quarterly basis how they're travelling to their budget. How can you be expected to achieve, an outcome if you don't even track your progress? So numbers are really, really important. It'll help that business to identify where its weaknesses are. It'll help to show where its strengths are. And, if the business is struggling, then maybe they can fine-tune what it is that they're doing more towards their strengths than their weaknesses, and therefore find more success. Thirdly, I think it's really important to have a look at their processes. Every business should have process. The more that you can systemise those processes, the more consistent it will be, not only from your delivery, but from your staff's delivery. The easier it is, the more consistent it will be for your customer base. Last thing we want is customers having a wide range of experience. We want them to get the same experience every time they come and use us. So process, be it automated, be it written, be it educated to your staff, is really important. We're looking for that consistency. And when your clients experience a consistent service, they're much more likely to use you or tell their friends, their colleagues, about it. Think about the restaurant industry, for example. If you think about some good restaurants around town, one of the things that we rate them by is their consistent service. Every time we go back there, it's quality service. It's done with a smile. The food's always consistently good. So that consistency in your service delivery, I believe, is really, really important. So have a look at your efficiencies, have a look at your processes. Maybe there's something out there that's been developed in technology that can help you to deliver that in the same way, but maybe in a more efficient or less costly or less timely manner. Probably the fourth thing I'd say is go back and connect with your clients. You know, some industries have a habit of writing business and then moving on and looking for the next sale. Yet when they've got an existing client, often that's the best opportunity to find another client, either by doing more business with them, having them refer you to someone who believes that you know, you've done a good job for them, or why couldn't you do that for someone else? Or maybe they can give you some idea on, you know, how they found your business, so that you can go and then develop that as a source of building your business. And last, I would say that don't be afraid of considering of either increasing your service offering to make yourself more attractive, or even going the other way and actually reducing your service offering but specialising in that area that is making money. It really comes down to knowing your business. And if you're experiencing difficulties, well, then you need to take a good hard look at the business and work out what's working, what's not, and get out there and make those changes to make it a success.
Well, very good points across the board. Does anyone have any questions? No? Everyone's business is booming, of course, but I'm just kidding. But we've got some hot tips from all the panelists. So do you want to address the 5 tips? Just to summarise quickly, and then we'll finish. Rueben?
So readdress the top tips?
The top tips?
Yep. Yes, the first one is make a decision, make a commitment, decide where you're going, that you're in this thing or you're not. Don't just sit on the fence, because otherwise things won't change. Second one is know your numbers. So really go through your numbers, know what's working, know what isn't, know your business inside out, so you can make the decisions that you need to make. Third one, then work out a clear plan, get it from out of your head onto paper, so you can work a plan, you can be accountable to a plan, you can actually get that, and then get the support that you need to guide it. And they're not just the mentor and support ones, but people who can connect you into markets, and recommend, again, focus on one market. If you need to trade your way out of something, make your decisions, but then focus on growing one particular market, because you're putting your energy and laser focus into something. So thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Craig's going to say, ladies first. That's it.
For me, it's about start with why. So Simon Sinek is a really good speaker, but he also has a book called Start With Why, which I think is crucial for all business owners to read. So know why you are doing what you're doing. As I also said, get that support network, which is something that came across from all of us. I think it's really, really important to have someone's number, you know, that you can pick up the phone and just phone the person and get some advice. Whether it's a professional or a friend, but it's somebody who has been on this path before you. Also, it's about not giving up. You have the power to choose. You can choose to be happy, you can choose to be sad, you can choose to be successful, or you can choose to fail. It's very much up to you. And lastly, get that expert mentor or coach that can help you to shorten the learning curve.
Yeah. Similar vein, seek that mentor. You know, find someone in your industry that you can, you know, learn from their mistakes. Make sure you've got a business plan. If you don't have one, it's probably the reason that your business is suffering. But a business plan is not enough. You need to also have a marketing plan. You need to do cash flow forecasts, so that you've got something to benchmark your success against. Make sure you review your processes, look for automation, look for ways that you can make your back office functions. Maybe, you know, one option is outsource, get a bookkeeper rather than do the books yourself. Your time's probably more valuable spent, you know, out in the field talking to your clients rather than doing, you know, checks for invoices. Go back and connect with your clients. You know, your existing client space is your best opportunity to grow your business. I believe it's about 1/5 of the cost of getting repeat business as opposed to going finding a new client. So it's logical that they're the first people you should speak to. And don't be afraid to review your service offering. You know, have a look at what it is that your clients are actually buying, and if that means reducing your your service delivery, then so be it. You know, obviously that's successful. Maybe spend your effort and your time in doing what's successful, not what's not successful.
Thank you, Rueben. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Alicia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We've got another case study happening just after this, but yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you.